Good evening and welcome to the Selectboard Board of Health Sewer Commissioners meeting of December 4th, 2024. Time is 6 p.m. This meeting will be held in hybrid fashion with the opportunity for both in-person attendance and remote participation. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. The meeting will be held in person in the main meeting room of Deerfield Municipal Offices in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A. Anyone intending to record the meeting must identify themselves to the clerk and provide their name and address for the record. So call the meeting to order. And at this moment, there's opportunity for anyone in attendance virtually or in person to have 2-minute comment about anything that's on the agenda or any other topic you'd wish to discuss. Seeing no hands, I will move on to the next item, which is hearings and appearances. And at this point, I'd like to welcome Superintendent Darius Matistow. Hi, Darius.
Hey, Darius.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So you're here to discuss a Green Communities grant, and so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so the town was awarded the Green Communities grant for the BMS system and some installation work at the elementary school. Really special thanks to the Energy Committee who made that happen. Mm-hmm. I believe, I don't know where things stand, because I haven't talked in the last week or so, but if you've accepted the grant or not. But we are looking, as a school, looking for who's going to run the project, and that would be under the select board's purview to assign that. And there was some questions and emails going around regarding, going out to bid, and it has to be a specific, I'm leaning forward because I'm having trouble hearing you guys, but that it has to be specific bids and that kind of thing regarding the equipment that's going to be used. But I just wanted to put out there, we did some more research on that. The Green Community Grant allows you to use a select Eversource vendor without going out to bid.
Great.
And then, if we use somebody like we did for some of our other projects, a company like Advanced Energy that's on their bid, they then subcontract out to make sure that we get the specific components that we need to match our system.
Right.
So that would kind of be the direction that the school would take if you put us in charge of it.
Yeah.
Like you have in other projects like the entryway to DES. There's also a possibility that we could capture some rebate money on this, which would help if there's any overage costs and that kind of stuff. There's some Eversource rebates as well that could be attached to this. The downside of doing that, just going off my notes here, is that you may necessarily not get a lowest bidder, but we also know lowest bidding can also be dangerous as well. So,
yes, it can.
So the difference between going off a selected list, pre-selected list, and going lowest bid. But
yeah, I know
that's
that
the information I have on that. But it's kind of in your guys' hands, I believe, if I'm understanding correctly, to get the thing kind of rolling.
Did we accept the grant yet, or
we did? Yeah.
Okay, great.
So the logic is that Bill Hildreth and Darius have been in charge of these past projects, and
An exceptional job.
they're more familiar with it than anybody.
Yeah.
And they to me seem to be the logical
Absolutely.
persons to be responsible for moving forward to implementation and contracts, et cetera.
Yep.
Christopher, is there any reason why? I mean, I think the logic is compelling that if you work with a vendor you've worked with before who knows the components they've installed and compatibility, et cetera. And I see that you've
Sent that letter.
written a letter to Deborah Anderson in the AG's office requesting that you be allowed to procure in the manner you proposed. Is that correct?
We actually haven't, I don't think we're going to need to do it that way because we also, since that went out, that came from Jason Curtis from the Energy Committee. One of his suggestions is to reach out for to get the exception, but Green Communities already falls under an exception with Eversource vendors.
Great.
Oh, good.
So,
Okay. And you feel comfortable
So-
you can get the equipment that will match the other stuff, right? Perfect. Okay.
yeah, and that's how we've done the other
Yeah.
energy projects in our building, from, the
Boilers.
from boilers to, the other,
Yeah.
installation work that we've done in a lot of the other schools.
Yep.
And our mini splits, the heat pumps, we work through a party that helps us get those done as well.
So I would make a motion to allow Darius Modesto, Bill Hildreth to manage the grant and project, and then just kind of update us, at various times throughout the project, and reach out if you need any help, or, you need some information. Happy to help, but, you guys have always done an amazing job on these projects, and why mess up a good thing?
So,
Yeah, the checks and balances still come back to the town for
course.
anybody listening in the sense that, all billing has to go back to the town, so it's not like we can
Right.
run away with, the school's not gonna run away with the money, so to speak. We gotta follow the grant rules, and it goes back to you guys for checks and balances.
Run away and buy a business system. That'd be great.
All right.
yeah, so I guess I'll second that.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Great.
And thank you for taking this on. I
Yeah,
appreciate
and thank you to the Energy Committee.
that. I'm sure the staff does as well.
Yes. Yeah, really appreciate all the work to get this done. That'd be
And
great.
thanks again to the Energy Committee for taking the initiative on this.
Absolutely. Echo the thanks to the Energy Committee for finding the money for us, or getting the money for us.
Yes.
And thank you for putting me front on this so that I can run to the CPC meeting next. So,
All
That's
right.
good.
Good luck.
Okay,
Take
good
care.
luck with that, too. Take care.
Good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
All right.
And Jan is on.
Next, we're going to jump ahead to C. Jan Amin is here from.
Yes.
We do have Candace just
Oh,
walking in as well.
Oh, Candace is just walking in the door. Well, okay, Jan, we're going to put you on hold. Come on down.
Come on down. Oh, you're not here yet. Okay, so
Oh,
we
well.
can go ahead with Jan then.
What? All right, you're going to get to enjoy the solid waste management discussion.
Sounds good.
All right, Jan.
Welcome.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi,
Good to see you
evening.
again.
Let me put a little more light on here. You can see me in my dark house. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I glad I took a look at your agenda, because there's a lot of solid waste items, many solid waste items on it. So I may be sitting here silently after this
Good.
discussion.
Some residents would say there's always solid waste on our agenda. But
I guess so. So I was asked to be here this evening. I don't know if you folks have specific questions about the 5-year extension for recycling processing, or you want me to give you a little overview?
yeah, I would
what's
like
your
that
pleasure?
so that it's recorded so that any but resident can go back and see what's going on over the next 5-year period.
Sure. So the town in 2019 signed a contract for recycling processing in the materials. This is for the transfer station, paper and bottles and cans. And it goes to the Springfield Materials Recycling Facility. We call it the MRF, the MRF. And it's sorted both mechanically and by humans, and then marketed in the town. That initial 5-year contract had 2 5-year extensions. And so what you have before you is the first 5-year extension, which would run from fiscal 26 to fiscal 31, 26 or 30, I think 30.
30,
That's a little bit of funny math there with fiscal years.
Yes.
And the financial pieces of it, so the way this contract works is there's a base processing fee, which is what the operator, Waste Management, needs to make to pay their bills and pay their people and pay their overhead. And that base fee increases by 2.5% from this year to next year. And so it'd be about $106. However, one of the bonuses of this contract is that the towns get credit for the material the value of all of the material that's being recycled. And contrary to national news and sometimes even local news stories about recycling being landfilled, that's not the case in Western Massachusetts. It's certainly not the case at the Springfield MRF. There's an advisory board which I'm on. My coworker Amy Donovan is on, and we monitor all of the markets and the materials and where things are being sent for recycling. So plastic is being recycled and all of the other products that in some areas may not be getting into the recycling stream, but they are here. So 2.5% is the base fee. However, for the last several years, the value of the materials has been high enough that towns have been paying net processing fee between $20 and $30. I think in November it was $35, maybe $33 or $35. So the value is high enough to offset most of the $108. One of the changes in the next 5 years is that depending on the number of tons that go through the facility, there is a tonnage fee adjustment. And so right now I'm working hard to get some tonnage from the Berkshires in, as well as some other folks who may be on the fence about signing on. And so the more tonnage we have, the less towns pay overall. So whereas this year or in November, the town was paying about $35. In a year from now, that might be $45 a ton if we applied the new contract pricing. So there'd be about a $10
To ask
increase.
a question,
Sure.
if people in Deerfield would recycle more, instead of putting in the trash, put it in recycle bins, it would lower our cost as well, correct? We'd have more tonnage going in, more recycling going in. The more people that can recycle, the less expensive it is.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Overall, and
Yep.
we're also looking at that, how to increase each town's individual amount of recycling. And so, absolutely, it's really all about the bottom line number. The more that goes over the scale, the lower the price.
Yes.
So,
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So there is another piece of this contract where, starting in fiscal '27, there's another 1%. So basically, next fiscal year is a 2.5% increase year to year, and then the following 4 years is really a 3.5% increase.
Correct.
But 1% gets deducted from the value of the material. So the way that works is Waste Management knows they need to make $106, and if the value is $80, they pocket that, they sell the material, and they keep $80, and then the towns pay the remaining $25.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So we have two different things to sign, right, Christopher? So
Yeah, we've just got the two, right, Greg? Yep. So the contract extension, and then also somewhat unrelated is basically a third-party inspection by DEP of our solid waste facility.
Yeah, I saw that later on the agenda, so I'm happy to talk about it now if you want to move it up, or I can stick around.
no, let's just do it now, because I'm gonna, when I make a motion, I'm gonna authorize Christopher Dunn to sign on behalf of the town. So go ahead and explain that.
Yeah, I didn't know the third-party inspection was on the agenda, so I didn't bring a copy home with me, but I am licensed by DEP to do this third-party inspection, which basically I look around for regulatory requirements like fire extinguishers. The attendant shed needs a methane detector because you're close to the landfill.
Yep.
There are certain other requirements, nothing, really technical. And so the report before you, I don't believe there were any corrective actions. So it should just be one document that's, I do 19 of them, so I don't exactly remember what Deerfield was, but if there was a corrective action document, it would be attached. And I don't think you folks had any corrective actions.
I don't think so.
So this just needs to get signed by the town and then returned to me, and I upload it to DEP, and we're good for another year.
Great. That sounds good. So, you want me to make a motion?
Yeah, for the
Okay.
contract.
So I'll make a motion to approve the 5-year extension contract for recycling, and that's it. Yeah.
And I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. And then, do you have this?
Yep. Make a motion to approve the third-party inspection report
And authorize.
and authorize
think actually-
Christopher Dunn to sign.
And I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
I think all three of you,
Oh, we all have to sign?
Yeah, I think-
Okay, so we'll all sign that.
fine.
Oh,
Is
whatever.
it?
We have to sign the first one.
Yeah, yeah.
There's only one signature place for,
Okay.
It may have to be the
well,
select board chair, but that's fine.
sort that out.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have a question for you, Jan, before we move on, and that has to do with
Sure.
sludge, our favorite,
Okay.
our favorite topic.
Yeah, you guys are getting me on all topics tonight. It's excellent.
Yeah, ridiculously expensive. So it's been a struggle for everybody, right? And we've got Lowell is generally the only one. There is, I don't know if it's on the agenda tonight to talk about, but there's also, we've been approached by another entity that possibly could take it not that much cheaper, but a little bit here and there. So just wanted to get your weigh in on that, what your thoughts. How's the sludge market looking? Any news on the horizon of different facilities? It's been a hard several years. Very costly.
It has. It's been decades of
Yes.
challenges with finding facilities to take sludge. So Lowell has been our long-term, long-distance
Yeah.
disposal facility. But the town of Montague, the clean water facility, has been taking sludge from
Yeah.
outside facilities, including Old Deerfield and South Deerfield, for at least 2 years now.
Yep.
And that's quite a bit cheaper.
Yes.
It's considerably, maybe $1,000
Yes.
a load cheaper to go to Montague.
Yep. Just don't have the volume.
And so, excuse me?
They just can't take the volume, correct, right? I mean,
Right, they're taking 1 to 2 loads a day
Yeah.
on average, and so, depending on how many loads, Old Deerfield doesn't usually ship very much. South Deerfield varies on what they're sending out.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are the outlets we have. If I'm so glad I'm here for this meeting, because I didn't know there was somebody who has capacity. Our issue has been finding a facility that has capacity, that's permitted and that has affordable pricing. So if somebody's approached you and they have a great deal, I'm staying for the whole meeting so I can hear about
so
it.
I don't even, I don't even think it's different facility. It might be just different trucking, costs for the, taking and delivering. That's what I'm curious to find out. And just hadn't heard of, are there other
Okay.
other people in
Sure.
the mix
Well,
doing
when
it?
we go out to bid, it's not a prevailing wage issue, but sludge is not exempt from 30B, so you do need to go out to bid for hauling.
Right.
And so we go out to bid. I go out to bid every 5 years. I usually do a 3-year contract with a 2-year extension.
Yep.
And while trucking is, I send it to WWSI in Noonan, and Wall Trucking is the only company that responds.
Right.
And so they've been our hauler for many, many years now, probably at least a decade.
Right.
So again, and we have a great fuel arrangement with them. So
Yeah.
if you folks have another company that's interested in hauling, I'm in a contract now.
Yep.
But I'm curious to
Okay.
hear more.
Sounds good. That sounds good. I was just curious about what your thoughts were on that. Thank you.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, and I'll stick around for the Sunderland transfer station discussion too.
Okay.
if you want to. Is it snowing out yet? Okay. good.
All right.
I'm
just
using the
gonna-
weather as an excuse to try and move this
Thank you,
meeting
Jim.
along.
Okay. I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
All right, and next up, we have Candace Bradley Carlin and the Tilton Fund. So please come on up.
Welcome.
And I'm going to make Greg Snedeker take a picture afterwards, so.
Oh, we were asked, we wanted to have a picture.
Yeah, so
We
we'll
have
get all of us
something
in
for
a,
social
in
media.
a row and, so, yeah, just tell us what's up.
You're in luck, Greg.
I'm Candace, library department director of the Tilton Library, and this is Nancy Maynard, chair of the Tilton Fund. Who's all of you? James Candace, Tilton Fund, library chair, director of Tilton Fund, Lucia Bonfire. So we're here today, we're giving our second payment to the town from our fundraising. And the first thing we gave was 500,000, and so we gave out 100,000, so this is a symbolic check of 600,000. And
Make a good down payment. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Do you want to speak? Or want me to speak? I can, whatever.
Thank you for speaking into the mic.
Okay. So, construction on the library building project is going along as scheduled, and if anyone drives by, you can see that that's definitely true. They hope to have it all sealed up by first week in January, so they can do all the rest of the work would be interior work. And so right now they're actively putting up brick. There's brick on the back. They'll be putting brick on the sides and the front of the expansion that will match the brick on the current building or the existing building.
Nice.
And as far as fundraising goes, the Tilton Fund reached a milestone today, 1.2 million.
Fantastic.
And our goal is 2 million. So we've had a very successful couple of weeks. We did our annual mailing that was focused on the capital campaign, and people are coming through. And it's early days, so we expect there'll be a lot more. Another fundraising activity we're doing is called the Library Brew Hop. And basically, people come to the library and you purchase for $35 a punch card ticket that gets you a beer at 4 different breweries. Berkshire Brewing Company in Deerfield, Element Brewing in Millers Falls, Four Phantoms in Greenfield, and then the brewery at 4 Star Farms in Northfield.
Great.
And that runs through April. And so we're kind of promoting that as a gift idea till the end of December, and then it will keep running. So, and we have other activities planned, and we're meeting with businesses. We had a really great meeting today with a local business that promises to be, to work out in our favor.
Wonderful.
And that's what I can think of. Oh, we're also picking out furniture and carpet and wall colors right now. It's very
Great.
exciting.
Great.
Do you guys want to say anything?
So I just wanted to say that of the 1.2 million in pledges and in monies received represents 225 businesses or patrons or
Wonderful.
townspeople. So that's just wonderful.
That
to
is great news.
See that happening.
Yeah.
But it's been
Wonderful.
9 years that we've been working
It's a
on
long
this
haul.
campaign.
Yeah.
But we haven't forgotten it, and we're chugging along, and we're going to make it.
That's great. That's great. Great work.
Say so.
And I want to attest to the fact that there were no arguments about colors yesterday. So
Everybody's.
and a lot of agreement about which chairs people couldn't get out of.
Yes.
And one other piece of good news is we may be able to access low-cost shelving that is essentially brand new that a university installed and has now found that they don't need. and
Wow.
they need to get rid of. So
That'd be great.
hopefully we will be able to have some cost savings there.
That's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thanks for
Happy
the photo
holidays.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Nice to see
wonderful.
everyone.
Good to see you too.
Keep up the good work.
I just wanted to make one announcement real quick while we're on announcements. We're in this season of giving. The Deerfield Donates Toy and Food Drive, sponsored by the Deerfield Recreation Department. This has been another difficult year for many households in Franklin County. Let's join in the holiday spirit and help those in need. New unwrapped toys for children of all ages will be donated to the Salvation Army. Food donations will go to the Franklin Area Survival Center. Donations of toys and food may be left off in the Deerfield Hall the entryway in the Deerfield Town Hall. For those who don't want to shop, gift certificate donations to area stores may be put in an envelope addressed to the Recreation Department and put in the drop box. Donations will be accepted from November 25th through December 14th. For more information, you can email the Rec Department at recdept@town.deerfield.ma.us. So please bring in some toys and some food, please. Thank you. I don't think I have any other announcements.
Christopher, I got an email from Valerie Bird that says no subject, and then it has a list of things. Is that because Ned was going to present something? She's got you on the email. I don't see her here.
She's here.
Is she?
I know she could. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
under.
she's
there
under
she is.
BRPC, yeah.
Yeah, the BRPC.
Okay.
Hey, Val.
The sound is weird.
Yeah. Her sound or our sound?
There's something going on with it, I think.
There, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Welcome.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, I just wanted to give you, Ned could not be here tonight because he has a Board of Health meeting
Okay.
the first Wednesday of the month in the town he lives in.
Okay.
He's on that Board of Health, so I told him that I would come on. I would Zoom in to see if you had any questions. That is his report for the time that he's been here. So far, I think things are working out well.
They are. Yep. I know he's been working hard with Pat on a lot of the license renewals.
Right. The permit eyes. And he's going to be getting, if you look at the report I sent you, he's going to be getting the relevant, I think it's called,
Inspection software.
the software from Greenfield. And he's used that before in Westfield.
Oh,
He
good.
does have a preference, but he said he would give it a shot and see how it is
Okay.
compared to permit eyes.
Yeah, we had this possible discussion because the Valley Health Regional Collaborative uses that relevant software for certain functions, and we want to, it's not compatible with what we have, but we'll see how it works.
Yes, I think if it's a choice between being compatible with the Valley Health or being compatible with the building department, it would be more important to be compatible with the building department because the two systems talk to each other,
Right.
the two departments.
And the other thing,
And I did see he had a housing issue he was investigating at the bottom of the report. I don't know
Yes.
anything about that, so I'll follow up with him on that tomorrow.
Okay.
yeah, I was going to ask you about that. We'll just wait till the next meeting.
Yeah.
Right, wait till the next meeting and he'll give you a report, or probably if we figure it out before then,
Okay.
we'll just send you an email
Sounds good.
to let you know. Was there anything else that you guys had? Is it snowing there?
Apparently
No.
not yet. We're all anxious though.
Yeah, anyway. All right, well, listen, thank you so much for filling in.
Yeah.
And,
always
You're
good-
welcome.
Always good to talk to
And
you.
have a good night.
Yes,
You
you
too.
too.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, I think, let's see. Where is it? That's 23.
Board of Health related to Valley Health Regional Collaborative. The epidemiologist who provides us information on a monthly basis has pointed out that whereas Deerfield used to be, 70% or higher in the vaccination rates for COVID shots and so forth, countywide uptake has fallen off quite a bit, even though people are still getting COVID. Thankfully, seems to be milder in most cases, but it's down in the 30% range.
Wow.
So I'm just encouraging people who believe in vaccines to go out and get them. They're free in Walgreens and CVS, and they also do flu shots and RSV and pneumonia. And I know that pneumonia has been cropped up. I spoke with Cindy Majewski earlier this week, and we know from firsthand experience that it's out there.
Yes.
And so be mindful, and if you're having symptoms of, trouble breathing, et cetera, definitely see somebody. It's important to get treated early.
And then I'll mention, I don't know if we have a meeting between now and the 20th, but I'll be attending the district court again on Romanowski. That's the follow-up date for that. And I'll update Val, and I think Ned might attend as well. So
Right.
that's it.
Excellent. Okay. Is it,
Is it a meeting?
this is a procedural question for Chris. Is it okay to just list minutes of June 8th, and do them all at once rather than doing them individually?
Yeah, I think that's fine if you just actually go through them and read them. We'll approve the following minutes. And
Yeah.
Great. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 8th, 2023, January 24th of 2024. That was a Board of Health and BBA hearing of October 7th, 2024.
And I'll second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Thank you.
All right, so we're up to discussion and decision items. So Jewett Avenue Barn RFP.
Yeah, I wanted to give everyone a quick update on this. So obviously, it's been a long time in process trying to put together an RFP just to dispose of the property on Jewett Avenue, which is just less than an acre, and includes a barn that was previously used by the Highway Department to store some equipment. There's no longer anything of value being stored there by the Highway Department. So there's no impetus really to replace that structure. So at this point, we have an RFP that is essentially structured so that we'll select the proposal that's most advantageous. That takes into account price. The appraised price of the property was $40,000. Doesn't mean we need to get a bid of $40,000, but we would have to justify to the Secretary of the Commonwealth if we were to award a proposal that is under that $40,000. And then other criteria included to evaluate proposals: removal of the barn, abatement of any environmental risks associated with that. A question for the board: a couple questions. Do we want to include, and this was a question from Lisa, if we want to ensure that any proposals do not include a new building on that site. Obviously, it's a small site, and the barn was non-conforming with our zoning regulations. And then
That would make sense.
yeah, so we could include that as
let's
a
do that.
evaluative criteria in there. The other piece is just that they need to have access to this site. Obviously, it's a very small site. It's accessible only by this right-of-way, which is not usable by all members of the public.
Right.
I think the other question is just who do we want to undertake the evaluations? I think currently I'd had language in there about a town administrator, town accountant,
Right.
other individuals. If the select board wants to undertake it, you're welcome to as well.
No, I'm good with the town administrator.
I think town
Whoever you
administrator.
feel
Oh,
appropriate.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yep.
and so that can be put out.
Yeah, so the next step is I'm going to take it to FERCog and just figure out when on their schedule we can fit it in. They'll probably have a couple minor changes to make it match up with their, procurement documents. And Lisa will give it one last look. But otherwise, I think we're good to go.
Great.
Excellent.
Good work. Thank you. Thank you for that.
I knew there was something that I meant to. Did you manage to bring those 2 photographs I wanted to put up?
So I have them, I don't have them,
Okay.
ready, so I apologize for that, yeah.
All right.
But
We're going to dock you.
Yeah, the pavement, yeah. We'll get them.
Of the department.
The Leary lot and
Oh.
how it actually absorbs water, whereas.
Oh, did you get some pictures of
Yeah,
water?
I mean,
Yeah, it's like a
in the
copy.
most recent rain we had after months of no rain,
Yeah.
we took pictures of a traditional parking lot that
Yep.
was full of puddles, and the brand-new Leary lot, which had no puddles.
Very nice.
And just to show that
That's
it does
great.
work as long as,
Yeah.
we will be diligently maintaining it.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And-
Great.
All right, well, we'll get those at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, so review of contracts and contract amendments for MVP. Can you talk us through that, Christopher?
Sure. So we've got 3 different contracts here. One is for Chris Curtis. And this has to do with his community engagement work and reporting, mostly on the Sugarloaf Brook Action Grant, or Seed Project Grant. Similar contract for Wayne Fiden and Plan Sustain, which is his firm. And those are both, relatively low dollar figures. And then the bigger one is GZA and Field Geology Services. And this is has to do with the $170,000 hydraulic and hydrologic study of the Bloody Brook. So this is essentially their work to undertake that study. Trevor, you got a question, it looks like.
Well, I see 2 contracts for Plan Sustain, but not one for Chris. Unless maybe I just have,
Yeah.
I maybe have a duplicate or something.
Yeah,
One
might
got
have-
in one
might
and one
have
got in the other. That's fine.
Yeah, it's basically the same
The
dollar. amount,
same thing. Okay, got it.
So we'll correct that.
The GZA one I was looking at, and it looked like, if I got back to the money page, so it looked like the total budget of 200,000, MVP action grant funding is 150, this MVP seed project funding, is that?
Right. So this is basically, there's 2 parallel brook studies. One is Bloody Brook, and that's the $170,000 FY25 action grant, and then the other one is the Sugarloaf Brook, or Blacksmith Brook, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And that's a smaller dollar figure. So I think the total for that project was something like $60,000, and then of that, GZA and FGS were providing some the H&H study for that brook as well.
And then, is there any outlay of cash other than these 2 contracts? I know some of these are paid for by the grant as well. I just wondered do we have any other outlay of money?
There's no match.
No matter.
There's no match. Yep, that's correct.
So
yeah.
the 50,000 is the MVP 2.0 seed project. That's
Yep.
what we said. Since we were doing one, we wanted to get, instead of getting half of the hydrological study, we're going to get the other half.
Okay.
And since GZA is working in partnership on one, they're doing the other one.
At a reduced price, right? Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and to Tim's point, there's no match because we were one of several communities designated to have suffered essentially too severe inland flooding, and so they waived any match for flood mitigation projects.
Okay.
Apparently, the few people who were online were having trouble hearing us. So
Speak into the mic. All right.
one of them gave up and logged off.
There may be some issues with the
Yeah.
state.
Yeah, there could be.
May not be correctable at this moment.
All right, so do we need to make a motion on the GZA contract?
And the Curtis.
Sure, yeah, and in whichever order you want to take it, we've got Chris Curtis, Wayne Fiden, and then also GZA and FGS.
Well, I haven't been able to find the signatures for these contracts.
You can
So-
vote to have
Yeah,
Christopher sign
yeah.
the two Chris
Yep.
Curtis and Wayne, and then the GZA is requiring all. of
Right,
it.
so let's do
Okay.
GZA first. So I make a motion to approve the proposal for professional consulting services on Bloody Brook and Blacksmith Sugarloaf Brook Resilience Project.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Action Grant, MVP 2.0, and Grant Coordination Services for 2024-2025 for between the Town of Deerfield and Plan Sustain, Inc. for the amount of $6,200.
Second. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
And then I'll make a motion for the same contract for Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Action Grant, MVP 2.0, Grant and Grant Coordination Services for 2024-2025 for Christopher Curtis for the amount of $6,200. For the same, right? Yep.
And I'll second that. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. And I make a complimentary motion that we authorize Christopher Dunn to sign those two contracts.
Approved, second? Yep.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Great.
Liquor license renewals.
Right now, they just need to vote the list.
All right, so we have this is the annual renewal process.
Yes.
Right.
So I will just read the people that we're going to be authorizing renewals for. So we're an all alcohol on-premise license for Deerfield Inn, Gianni Figs Restaurant, Hotel Warren, Food for Strength, doing business as Leo's Table, Magic Wings, Inc., PHB Yankee LLC, doing business as Powder Hollow Brewery, The Tavern Sports Bar, Wolfie's Restaurant.
That's it. Yep. I'll second that motion.
Let's see.
That was all
No, I think there's,
on premise.
yeah, there's some more. One more, the Polish American Citizens Club.
Oh, okay. Yep. I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. And I make a motion to approve all alcohol off-premise liquor licenses for Deerfield Spirit Shop and Purple Meadow Ventures, doing business as Deerfield River Liquors.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. And then I make a motion to approve the following for wine and malt off-premise liquor licenses for Cheslick's Market LLC, Circle K Massachusetts, doing business as Circle K, Deerfield Convenience Store, Kapoor Mobile Mart, Inc., doing business as Conway Road Neighbors.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. And wine and malt on-premise liquor license, I make a motion to approve the following for Zach's Barbecue.
Second. That's it.
Yep. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. And finally, I make a motion to approve Farmer Brewery pouring permit on-premise licenses for Berkshire Brewing Company, Treehouse Brewing Company, Farmer Distillery pouring permit, Treehouse Brewing Company Farmer Series pouring permit, and Treehouse Brewing Company Farmer Winery pouring permit.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
All right, good work.
So, do Trevor and I sign here?
Yeah, you're voting the list. You can sign if you'd like, you can sign the individual ones after.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yep.
Yeah. All right, the next thing is the employee reimbursement policy we've been working on, and you want to just discuss that a little bit, Christopher? I mean, basically, in the past, when employees have traveled for the town's business, they've had to bring back receipts, and there's a whole process of turning in receipts to
Losing the receipts.
yeah, losing receipts, turning in receipts,
Throwing them out in the hamburger trash can.
and so Pat Martin was involved in tracking it. Then it went to Sarah.
It's a lot of time
Yeah,
wasted.
so we decided that it made more sense to develop a policy that encompassed breakfast, lunch, dinner if you're away for business, for town business. So maybe we ended up with essentially determining that there would be, I think, 15 for breakfast, 25 for lunch, and 55 for dinner, and total of $90 a day. So it's essentially a per diem process where it's much easier for the town to track it and doesn't end up with individuals having to bring back. Oftentimes the stuff costs more than that anyway, but I was had a cup of coffee for $4.
Yeah.
So
It's too much staff time to worry about dealing with it.
were there any other issues in that, if Trevor, I forget?
No, I think that was, it was 15 for breakfast, 20 for lunch, 55 for dinner. I think it was a total of 90
Yep.
bucks. Yep.
So it's not like we do this a lot anyway, but.
No, it's mainly for anytime they go away to a conference, really.
Right. So I will make a motion to approve the personnel policy as adjusted.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
We believe this was done a while ago, but.
It was.
We're
and
just going
yeah,
to redo it because we
we're
couldn't find the
revoting it
vote.
because we couldn't find the actual proof that we voted it before.
Right. Could have gotten sidetracked.
So can you talk to us about the South County Senior Center PVTA memorandum of understanding?
So there is, Jennifer Remillard has been working with PVTA, Pioneer Valley Transit Authority. Deerfield and Sunderland and Whately are kind of stuck in this no man's land between the FRTA and PVTA, and one won't deliver to the other, and it's just been really difficult trying to get, and our senior centers kind of spread all over the place at the moment. So she had been trying to talk with the different transit authorities on how to better service seniors, how to get them to Greenfield to doctor's appointments, how to get people to the senior center, different, shopping, different things like that, because public transportation in rural towns is very difficult, and when you're saddled right between two different entities, they can't really work together. It's been a challenge. So she has come up with a memorandum of understanding between PVTA and the senior center, in that one day on a Tuesday, the PVTA will pay to have our driver drive one of their buses on a specific route, and that will allow our seniors to get on and get off, go up to doctors up in Greenfield, and it actually starts in Amherst and kind of makes its way up and back. So there's opportunity for our seniors to get rides very inexpensively, and we thought, I hesitated a little bit on this because I didn't want to draw away from our staff, but it's really actually, it's supplementing the staff's time that they wouldn't be here anyways, and it's and they would be traveling. It's kind of just it's a win-win, because we're using their vehicle, their insurance, their gas, and it's really we're using this as a pilot program for 1 year. I think it's an 18-month thing, but it started for a bit. So we needed to sign an MOU to make sure that our insurances were good. We checked with our attorney. They looked over the contract, everything. We just wanted to make sure we were covered and liabilities and stuff were covered. And we wanted to try this out for a year and see how it worked. Does it help our seniors get to different doctor's appointments or to the center? And then just evaluate it in a year and see if we continue it or not. We are also working on, she got a grant for a new van from DOT, and that's going to be coming shortly. I think the paperwork came through, and I was talking to Brenda a little bit about it. And so we're looking at different ways to make sure we have transportation available since we're broken up so much and we don't have anybody in one spot. So this is just one avenue. See if it'll work for the year. Come back and evaluate.
Okay. Yes, and I understand that we have verified that the person who would be the driver has got the necessary driving licenses to
Yes.
meet state requirements.
Yes, and to handle, work with the seniors, and it's what they do now, so. Yep.
Right. Okay, well, you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the assistance agreement by and between the Pioneer Valley Transit Authority, the town of Amherst, and the town of Deerfield.
I'll second that. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilche, aye. And the paperwork is made out as me signing it,
Yes.
so I will do that.
Great.
All right. I'm just going to bring this up since Jan is staying here for this reason. It's really almost not worth it. We just wanted to acknowledge that we may have mentioned this at a previous meeting, but in a discussion in Sunderland, the idea came up that Sunderland might want to talk to Deerfield about an agreement to use our transfer station. And so can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure, happy to. And it was, I think it was brought up in a meeting, sort of off cuff. They've been searching for a location for a transfer station in Sunderland and have so far not been able to identify such a spot. And so Deerfield just came up as a town that has a quality transfer station that might be able to accommodate additional communities using it. I did speak with our DPW at our standing meeting a couple weeks ago. They're certainly amenable to at least exploring the option. Obviously, it has to be something that benefits both the town of Sunderland and the town of Deerfield. And I think an immediate question comes up. Would there be different days for drop off for Sunderland residents? To ensure that Deerfield residents still have the access they're accustomed to. But all very preliminary. Becky Torres, who's the new town administrator for the town of Sunderland, reached out this week, and I just let her know, hey, we're talking about it on our end as well. We'd be happy to set up a meeting, discuss further, because this really could be a win-win for both communities potentially. Yeah. But obviously early days.
Yeah, and I think one of the concerns, just talking with staff, was staffing. We'd almost need to have somebody at the gate at that point, and there's a lot of logistics to work out. But I'm sure, Jan, I'm sure there's other communities that share, and we'd love to learn. I mean, any way we can add more recycling tonnage in, right?
Yeah, that's what
That's right. Yeah. Boy, if we got Sunderland signed up at the Deerfield transfer station, that would really be great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing this topic up. I've been enjoying listening to your meeting, at least, if not participating in the rest of it. So I have been working with the Sunderland Energy Committee for probably 2 years. They're really a dedicated group of individuals dedicated to trying to have a transfer station in Sunderland, because right now every resident has to hire a private contractor, a hauler, and there's pretty much only one that's servicing Sunderland, and that leads to rates going up without really any recourse. Mm-hmm. And so at our last stop, I said, why don't you folks think about sharing a transfer station with someone? And I thought about Deerfield, not initially about sharing your side of the transfer station, But the first kind of light bulb thought was that the town of Sunderland could rent some of the property and build their own transfer station to the right. So when you go in, there's a trailer there that we used to store farm plastic in, and there's a large area there. So the model for that is in Charlemont and Shelburne. Charlemont owns the property. They have a very small transfer station on the left side, and on the right side is the Shelburne transfer station. Each town owns their own equipment, but Shelburne rents, pays an annual lease to Charlemont for the property. So that was really my original thought. However, in the conversation with Sunderland Selectboard, they were more eager, and I understand, they were more eager to discuss with Deerfield about using the Deerfield's facility, basically, and that could look like Sunderland operating it a couple of days a week, or it could look like Deerfield operating it more, or it could look like Sunderland residents buying a permit, having a non-resident permit, and then accessing the facility it could be a specific day. It could just be Wednesdays for Wednesdays and Sundays for Sunderland residents. So there are a lot of possible scenarios, and I'm glad the town is thinking about it, and look forward to having more conversations with Christopher and Becky and whoever might be involved, Chris at the DPW.
Yeah, it's worth entertaining, for sure.
Definitely, since we only open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, there seems to be both an opportunity for increasing the recyclables tonnage advantageously and providing for a neighbor. And so let's definitely start the conversations.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to think of staff and just capacity, because a lot of times we fill up, so there would obviously be changeover of the item, the containers a lot more often.
Sure.
Obviously with that more tonnage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could get worked out. Figure something out.
Right. There are definitely, I don't want to say issues, but there are things to note if two towns are sharing the same equipment, or more residents are sharing the same equipment, and those are things I'm considering. And I said to Deerfield, I'm wearing two hats because I represent the town of Deerfield's best interest, and I also represent the town of Sunderland's hopes.
Yes.
And so, I'm very clear that this has to be, for me, I want it to be clear that it's in Deerfield's best interest or financial best interest.
Right.
So, that's all kind of on the table to be looked at.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sounds good. Look forward to the conversation, for sure.
Thanks, Jan.
Yeah, thank you. And while I have the floor, I want to say thank you for appointing. I know it's coming up next or soon, but looking forward to having John Frank represent the town as our second Deerfield rep on the board.
Oh, great. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Where is this? I want to go back to the Bartlett.
Yeah, item 7F.
Yep. So there's a large maple tree that has essentially three trunks that's sort of fused at the base. It sits on town land right behind the library.
It's the most beautiful tree in all of Deerfield.
And it's very big, very old, and it was a concern of people, and very legitimate concern, that it poses a threat to the new building we're building. So we asked Chris Miller to reach out and talk to tree experts about what could be done. The construction company hired a tree expert. D.A. Sullivan hired a tree expert to study the tree. They advised banding the tree so that there's more structural support for the three separate trunks. Also to do some significant pruning. There's some dead wood in the canopy, reduce the size of the canopy to make it less likely to fall in on anything. and also to do some, to look at fertilizer and soil care treatments to strengthen the tree. So Chris got an estimate from Bartlett Tree Experts, and in the amount of $4,690 to do all of that work, some of which can be done during the winter, and some of which would be done, when the appropriate times for fertilizing, et cetera, are available. It makes sense to do, and they have the money in the tree budget at the current moment. I think there's about $30,000 in the tree budget, although we're coming into the season where limbs are going to be collapsing and so forth. But so have you looked at that, Trevor?
I did. I went through this. I'm in favor of it. It is an important tree. It's a beautiful tree, and obviously we have a brand new building. So I think it's for all those reasons, it's important to make sure the tree's healthy, pruned, fertilized. I honestly think it's one of the most beautiful trees in the fall anywhere around. It's so gorgeous, and just love to keep it as healthy as we can for as long as we can. And I think this is,
Do you have an advice about should we just authorize Chris Miller to sign this, or should we authorize you to sign it, Christopher?
I mean, it's under $10,000, so you don't even need a contract. So, sound business practices. So,
Okay.
I'll take care of it with Chris.
thank you.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the contract to provide preventative maintenance on the maple tree behind the library, and authorize Christopher Dunn to handle the execution of the contract.
Second,
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. All right. Now we have, just want to acknowledge that Bement School has provided a $10,000 donation to the town, annual donation. So we want to thank them for that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that donation.
And
I can answer the sewer abatement.
yeah, this is something that's your sweet spot.
Yeah, there was a sewer abatement on the agenda for Galinsky at 96 North Main Street, but it is a couple things. I did a little research. It's a little premature, for one, because we do abatements on summer readings, and we haven't got the summer reading yet, so that's happening hopefully any minute. We've been waiting on those. Unfortunately, everyone's going to get their sewer bill for Christmas. So the the other thing is that they, so we have an abatement policy for residents that that use water each summer and washing their cars, filling their pools and watering the garden, all that kind of thing. So they people don't pay more than 125% of their winter usage. So we extended that to farmers as well, because a lot of times a lot of the water that they use goes on the fields and growing and that kind of thing. So, but in this case, they actually have. So we ask farmers to either put in a separate water meter for that use, and this property actually has a separate water, and we don't bill them for sewer out of that. This is only tied to the house and the usage at the house, and not for the usage at the farm. So I can explain that when he pops into a meeting. I can explain that for now. But
Good. Yep. So we'll hold off on this until we get further information.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
All right. So next up, we have a couple of appointments to deal with. First, I'd like to make a motion to appoint John Frank to the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District as our representative for Deerfield.
I'll second that motion and thank him for his service.
And I would just add, we don't yet have the application in front of us, so I would just make that motion pending receipt of that application.
Sounds
Friendly
good.
amendment pending receipt of the actual. So we have a verbal but not a written.
We've
We've got a verbal commitment from John to.
We need his John Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, he apologized.
All right.
He didn't have his application in, but I said, no fear. We'll
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, appointments are always very much encouraged.
Absolutely.
Particularly on such a weighty subject matter.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so all those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. And next, we have a request from the police chief to, which I will read. Dear Honorable Board, I'm respectfully requesting Ryan Roberts be appointed as a full-time police officer effective Monday, December 9, 2024, in accordance with the union contract at $26.45 hourly. If authorized and voted, Ryan would start with the full-time police academy in Holyoke on Monday, December 9. He would then start a 3-month field training officer program after the graduation, scheduled for May 16, 2025. As the board is aware, we lost James Fitzgerald full-time to Newbury Police Department in Eastern Mass just over a couple of weeks ago. I am also respectfully requesting a part-time appointment of Colin Pettis, who will also be attending the full-time academy with Ryan at $26 an hour. Once Colin completes the academy, I will review our finances internally and make an educated decision on whether we are able to put him on in a full-time capacity to not only cover shifts, however, also retain him for the future. Colin has lived in North Main Street, South Deerfield for many years. Both these gentlemen have humble, genuine, and helpful personalities. Please feel free to reach out with any questions at any time. So I'd make a motion to follow the recommendation of the police chief for appointment of Ryan Roberts and Colin Pettis.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
It's great. Thank you for serving. And I know it's been hard trying to find police officers, and John is doing an outstanding job recruiting, so appreciate that very much.
Okay, next up we have a letter of support to the CPC. Can you talk about this, Christopher?
Yeah, happy to. Yep, so this application from the Open Space Committee stemmed from the discussion around designating Pecumtuck Rock as Article 97 land. So if you recall, we discussed this briefly before special town meeting back in October, decided we wanted a little bit more information before proceeding with placing it in, under those restrictions. My recommendation at the time to the Open Space Committee was let's get a survey so we have a full understanding of all the utilities, et cetera, that are up there, the boundaries of the property. And then we have something that we can essentially take to town meeting and formally, vote to put under Article 97 protection once we feel we have the proper limits in place.
Right.
So they're going to be applying for I believe it's called a land conservation grant to help fund that survey work.
Okay.
They are also pursuing a match from the CPC for that application.
I see. The 2,000%.
Yep. And at this point, I think they've gathered a couple quotes preliminarily on the survey work. And so more to come on that front. But this letter is just in support of that application for the matching funds for that project.
Yes, for sure. And I'm glad we held off on that. I just want to make sure that we think about our future and with the towers that are up there, and do we need to peel off a little more land around that? I'm happy to protect most of it, but I just want to keep our interests in the forefront when we do that. So I'm good with this letter of support.
You want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to support the letter of support for the CPC for cost sharing for the Land Conservation Assistance Grant.
Second. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. Okay, over to you, Town Administrator and Assistant Town Administrator, for reports, if any.
Sure. I'll try to make it quick, but I did want to update you on just a handful of things. One, I don't believe I'd provide this update yet, but we did hear back from Beth Greenblatt, who has been serving as kind of the town's energy consultant. Nexamp has come around to the existing pilot agreement we had. There are some adjustments based on, I think based on, energy markets, et cetera. So there are going to be some changes in the payments. But essentially, everything's hunky-dory, I guess is what I would say.
That's good news.
So we're going to be hearing from Beth and Lisa in the next couple of weeks with a minor amendment to that agreement. But, fortunately at this point, it'll be able to move forward.
That's great. Great.
NextAmp is also requesting that we consider designating, being a public sector host, and that essentially allows them to pursue some tax credits and things like that.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like there's too much of a downside for the town on that, so I think we'll probably be amenable, and we can discuss that when we have the amendments to the agreement before us.
Okay.
So just wanted to give a quick update on that transfer station solar there.
That's great.
Town Common, just really quick, I submitted a letter to Kathy Sylvester, Chair of the Community Preservation Committee, on the status of that. Obviously, there was $350,000 in CPC funds
Yep.
designated for that project, and it continued to be hampered by various things. So I let her know, what we're going to try to do is, assuming we're able to get this Complete Streets grant for the Elm Street project, kind of tie that together, potentially put it out to bid in the same package or simultaneously, and focus really just on the land on the common itself and the crosswalk across North Main Street, which of course the town of Deerfield owns, so we do not have to deal with MassDOT on that one. So that's the preliminary plan. I'm going to be speaking to the CPC next week about that.
One thing I wanted to ask about was, it's been many years that Cumberland Farms property has just been sitting there on the corner, and I know personally of people willing to buy it, and they get run through the ringer by, I'm ready for like eminent domain. I'm looking to wipe that whole title. I just think we need to, enough is enough. I'm like ready to play hardball if we need to, because that is an ugly eyesore. It's holding up everything in the town, and every time they have a wonderful, opportunity to sell it, they find some way to stop it. And I just,
When we say they, we're talking about...
we're talking about the entity who owns
right.
Cumberland Farms in
Spain
Spain,
or wherever.
wherever. Yeah.
So the upside of eminent domain is that you can purchase a property at an appraised value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can remove covenants.
Yes.
And one of the reasons why the property is hard to sell is because this company doesn't want anybody to sell coffee or food or
Anything under the
anything.
sun.
So, we should explore what that would mean.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not that it's like your most important thing to do. I'm just, if it ever comes.
No, I mean, if I can put my town planner hat back on for a moment, I've always thought that's sort of a priority project downtown, because
Yeah.
you could pave the sidewalks in gold, but if you
Yes.
still have that vacant Cumberland Farms.
No, exactly. It's
Yeah.
an eyesore,
So-
and I mean, one of the things that is a beautiful example of what can happen is the lovely little B&B that's right next to the cemetery.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
somebody went in there and turned, I don't know what it was, into
Yeah.
a really beautiful
It
property,
is.
and it's providing a service to people who want to come see their kids at private schools
Yeah.
or see the leaves change, whatever. So
Yep.
if we could remove obstacles to a private developer taking over that property and making something beautiful there, that would be worth considering under
Yeah.
the right circumstances.
There's got to be something.
And I will add, as recently as last month, I had a meeting with someone else who was interested in the property and interested in, what are the hurdles and why hasn't it been redeveloped at this point. So people
Yeah.
keep noticing it.
They do.
And yeah, I think it definitely warrants a deeper discussion.
Yep.
Yeah.
See what our options are. That'd be great.
Good.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's completely fine. Real quick, senior housing. So we are on next week for a special meeting, or excuse me, not next week, week following, for a joint meeting with them. So we'll do, if it works for everyone, so this is December 18th. Take a look at your calendars, but if we have availability, I think at 5 p.m., we could do a joint meeting with the Senior Housing Committee, go over the RFP at that point that they put together for the St. James property, and prepare to be sent over to FERCog to actually be sent out to developers.
Okay. So the 11th, I know you're hoping maybe to set tax rates and that kind of thing. I've got negotiations at 5 to 8.
Right.
So I think.
Are you on the 18th?
On the 11th.
This is the 18th, right?
Right, yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So next week, no regular select board meeting, but we do have the tax classification hearing.
Right.
Okay.
And then the 18th, that's when our next regular one would be. And so what I'm recommending here is at 5 p.m., we meet a little bit early with the Senior Housing Committee,
On the 18th.
specifically to discuss that RFP.
That's good. Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Other quick updates, 1888 building, so site plan review is going to be before the planning board on Monday evening at 6:30 p.m. And USDA is just finalizing their submission to the State Historic Preservation Officer. So because we have this federal earmark, USDA handles the submission to that office. And so we've been helping them gather, information about the historic nature of the property and how that'll be addressed in any adaptive reuse.
Great.
So more to come on that end.
That's the 9th?
That is, the 9th is the site plan review. Yep.
And we're working with the guys in Hadley, the people in Hadley.
Yes, yeah.
They're a great,
Yep.
great team.
Yep. Yeah, rural development down there. Yep.
Perfect.
And that's at 6 o'clock?
6:30.
6:30.
That's on the 9th, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
And I did have an opportunity to, a couple of members of our planning board wanted to stop by and kind of check out the site. And thanks to Tim's recommendation, we have the footprint of that addition to the building kind of stenciled in, so you could kind of visualize where it would be and how things would flow around it. So they got to take a look at that as well. And then really quick, just 2 updates on grant extensions. Senior Center feasibility. So I know EDM Studio had asked for just a little extra time, given that they kind of ran into some issues. So we have an extension on that to the end of February that Sean Crun from DLS granted.
Oh, good.
So they have plenty of time now. And then
Great.
the heat geothermal feasibility study, that's almost wrapped up at this point. Bureau Happold, our consultant, is just interviewing a couple stakeholders, and that'll be wrapped up now by January 24th is the extension date on that. So, and then other than that, I think any questions on any ongoing projects or anything like that?
No, I think
As soon as I walk out the door.
You can shoot me a text.
No, I don't.
What about you, Greg?
Great job.
Yeah, I got a couple of things. Just the Leary Lot update. We've got the hotels, which EV owners were using for free for quite a while, which was fine as we commissioned the software. But yesterday we went to a pricing rule, so it's now going to be at the prices we established. So the free charging, I believe, is behind us at this point. So
Okay.
Unfortunately for those that I know.
Got used to it, thought it was a good thing.
But it might be helpful if, since Tim, you're an EV owner, to maybe try it out once and see if it's actually charging and for charging a fee for it. So, and then the second is I just want to, give a thanks to the 7 towns that participate in the EV credit. We are the host account holder for that, and had to fill out a Schedule Z to get counts readjusted for energy use within their own towns, and so they all got back to us, the ones that wanted
Great.
changes. And another shout out to Eversource for changing their uploading system, which is a lot easier now.
Good.
And also to Diane Cornwell, who did some adjustments on our bills
Great.
to make sure we're covering the bills with the
She's
credits
wonderful.
that seem appropriate. So
Yeah.
that's it.
So just to refresh my memory about this, the level 2 chargers and the chargers out here are at 30 cents
30
a
cents,
kilowatt
yeah.
hour, and
Yeah.
the high-speed superchargers are 42 cents per kilowatt hour.
That was your recommendation,
Yeah.
and we went with that. So I mean, and that can be changed at any time if we
Right.
feel it needs to be.
Typical charge for high-speed supercharger is 42 to 46, and some of them actually have, high use times. It's higher. So I don't know if we have that flexibility, but one of the nice things about the hotels is you don't necessarily have to have a specific app. You can just swipe your card, and you
Yeah.
can charge.
Yeah, they
One of the
have-
problems with ChargePoint and others is they have a proprietary interface.
Right.
And it's great if you have that's all you have in your neighborhood, but if you don't have an app, you pull up to it and you got to figure out, well, how do I download the app? How do I, so,
I don't have any Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they have a NIX card reader, which is great, so
Yeah.
they can credit cards and whatever you need. So, yeah, we can take a look in the future to see how if it's, covering the energy use that we're having to cover. So,
yep,
yep,
excellent.
yeah, great.
Thank you. Anything else? Nope.
Nope, we just got to do the Seinfeld sign and
Yeah,
sign and
okay,
check.
so can we do that outside of the meeting?
Yes, we can.
All right, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion. Thank
All
you
those in favor?
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.